Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN-TV in conjunction with Colfax High School presents Viking Pregame. A look at today's Colfax Vikings Girls Game. And now, Viking Pregame.
Good evening and welcome to the NLWN-TV studios. I'm Rick Olson, and on behalf of all of us at the Northern Light Webcasting Network, I'd like to wish you all a very happy new year, as tonight we're getting ready to bring you Colfax High School Viking Girls Basketball. Tonight, the 3-3 Colfax Vikings, who are 2-1 in the Dunn-St. Croix Conference, are getting ready to open the new year as they travel to Bloomer, Wisconsin, for a non-conference tilt against the Bloomer Blackhawks, who are 6-4 overall and 1-3 in the West Dairyland Conference. The Vikings are coming off a frustrating and disappointing 46-24 loss to the Elk Mound Mounders 3 weeks ago, while the Blackhawks are trying to rebound from a 66-40 loss to the Fall Creek Crickets back on December 20th. Now, coming up in this edition of Viking Pregame, we'll take a look at tonight's matchup between the Blackhawks and the Vikings. Then we'll get Coach Sarar's perspective on tonight's game in Coach's Corner. Then we'll take a quick look around the Dunn-St. Croix Conference to see where things stand as the conference heads into the new year. Now, following that, we'll send it out to Bloomer High School, where our broadcast crew will bring you all the play-by-play action of tonight's game. So it's time to get ready for some exciting high school girls basketball. All that coming up right after this brief timeout as you're tuned to Viking Pregame on NLWN-TV.
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move, so I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
Welcome back to Viking Pregame, where we are getting ready to bring you all the action of tonight's girls basketball game between the 6-4 Bloomer Blackhawks and the 3-3 Colfax Vikings. The Vikings are coming off a 46-24 loss to the Elk Mound Mounders way back on December 13th, while the Blackhawks were defeated by the Fall Creek Crickets 66-40 back on December 20th. Now, in that effort to the unbeaten Elk Mound Mounders, the Vikings jumped out to a quick 10-2 lead and looked like they had things well in hand. Well, that's when Elk Mound regrouped, and after that, it was all Mounders. Leading the way for the Vikings in that effort was junior Jordan Bovey, who hit on 3 field goals, including a 3-pointer, as well as hitting on 4 of 4 attempts from the charity stripe for 11 points. Goodell spins in the lane and gets it to Bovey, and she hit 2. And ball gets taken away by Bovey. She's got it on her own. She tries to lay it up. It goes in. Goodell spins in the lane, gets it back out to Bovey, puts up a 3. She hit the 3! She was followed by junior Sierra Shipman, who hit on 4 field goals for 8 points. To Shipman, who this time decides not to drive in. Then the ball got knocked loose. She puts it up and puts it in. Now tonight, the Vikings are stepping out of conference play to open the new year against the Blackhawks, who play in the West Dairyland Conference. Now, last season, the Vikings defeated the Blackhawks 52-30. The Blackhawks are a young team with 2/3 of their roster made of sophomores. Now, this season, the Blackhawks are scoring an average of 58 points per game while giving up an average of 50. Leading the way scoring for the Blackhawks are the Hartman girls. Sophomore Alva Hartman is shooting 30% from the floor while averaging 11 points per game. She's followed by sophomore Sierra Hartman, who's contributing over 9 points per game, and sophomore Briella Hartman, who's hitting just under 9 points per game. Briella Hartman, along with sophomore Grace Krajewski, is leading the Blackhawks in rebounding with around 5.5 boards per game each. Now, the Vikings so far this season are being led in scoring by Jordan Bovey, who's shooting 60% from the free throw line while averaging nearly 16 points per game. She's being followed by senior Kason Goodell and Sierra Shipman, who are averaging nearly 12 and over 10 points per game, respectively. On the board, Shipman is leading the way, pulling down 7 rebounds per game, followed by Goodell, who's grabbing over 6. Now, coming up next, following this timeout, we'll get the coach's perspective as we chat with Viking head coach Courtney Serrar on Coach's Corner. You're tuned to Viking Pregame on NLWN-TV.
You need some help?
Your toe chains are a little loose. Could spark a wildfire. I could show you how to secure them properly if you'd like.
Sure. Thanks a lot.
Anytime. You should check out SmokeyBear.com. They've got a bunch of tips on wildfire prevention.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Time now to see what the coaches have to say. It's Coach's Corner, where they look at tonight's game from the coach's point of view. And now, Coach's Corner.
Today, once again, we're talking with Viking girls head coach Courtney Serrar on Coach's Corner. And Coach, I sure hope you had a great holiday break.
Yeah, thank you. It was good.
Now, it is time to get back to basketball. In just a few minutes, the Vikings will be preparing to tip off against the Bloomer Blackhawks. But before we get to that game, way back on December 13th, the Vikings were defeated by the Elkmount Mounders 46-24. Your comments about that game?
Defensively, I thought we were really good. And offensively, we weren't very good. So, we definitely gave ourselves a chance holding them, to I think it was like 44 or 45 points or something like that, which is, they have a lot of kids who can put the ball in the basket. So it was good in that aspect. But, we went, I think, 16 minutes without scoring or something like that. So I think sometimes we just try a little too hard to make something happen on offense. So I was proud of my kids and how they played overall. The energy was there, the effort was there, they tried their butts off. But, we just couldn't put the ball in the basket, and there were some, careless turnovers and that kind of thing. And it was kind of a recipe for disaster in that part of it. But we worked on some things, over break, and sometimes the ball just doesn't go in, and I feel like I say that a lot, and we just have to continue to develop that confidence in shooting, especially, when you play great teams like Elk Mountain, and credit to them because their defense is every bit as good as ours. And I thought they did some, things that kind of kept us at bay, and I'm anxious to play them again. I think we can definitely play with them. So.
Okay, now, this game tonight is going to be a test on a number of ways, but it's been 3 weeks since the Vikings have faced an opponent. What have the girls done to try to prevent too much rust from building up?
Yeah, I think anytime, you're coming off of a break, there's definitely going to be that time period of where you're just trying to get back in the swing of things. So, we had some scout team come in, and over break, we got up and down, and they're in the same boat as us. I think everybody, unless you played a game over Christmas break, it's been a while since you've played a game, and I think it could be sloppy on both ends, I feel like, for a while, but, I trust my kids, and, they know that, as long as you play hard, and that kind of stuff, I'll be happy with whatever the outcome is. I hope that, I think we can definitely beat Bloomer. We just have to make sure that, we're doing some of the little things right. So we can't give up, off multiple shots off of offensive rebounds. Definitely have to win the rebounding battle. So.
Now, in the second half of that game against Elk Mound, the Vikings were held to only 10 points. And you kind of alluded to it. Some days the ball just doesn't go through the hoop. But what have the Vikings done to work on putting up more points?
I think part of the, a lot of times we catch the ball and we start dribbling right away. So we've really been working on catching the ball facing the basket. A lot of times when we dribble, naturally our eyesight tends to follow where the ball is going. So then we, miss cutters or we miss open, other things that kind of, limits our motion offense. So we've been working on that. We've been working on, finishing through contact and expecting the contact, especially with, against good teams. They're not going to just let you have easy looks at the hoop. So I'm hoping some of that will pay off and some of the stuff that we've done over break too.
Now tonight, the Vikings are taking on the Bloomer Blackhawks, and it's a team that appears to be pretty young. I think about 2/3 of their roster is filled with sophomores. So what can you tell us about the Blackhawks and the challenges they present?
Yeah, they have a lot of kids who they like to play fast, and they all like to shoot it. So we just have to make sure that, we get a hand up on shooters. They're going to make shots. They're going to take shots. We just have to make sure on the misses that we're the ones that secure the rebound so that we don't give them multiple opportunities. They have almost their, whole starting five plus one more shooting over 30% from three. A lot of them have, up in the, 70s, 80s attempts at a three. So that tells me they like to shoot the three. And if you're making it at a 35% clip, you're helping your team for sure. So just have to make sure that, we got our hands up on shooters, rebound. I think they're pretty small, so I'm hoping we can take in some advantage of some inside things, hopefully. And go from there.
It sounds like it almost might be a night where the transition game and the team that brings the better transition game is going to have a decent night.
Yeah, they definitely like to get out in transition. Any kid on their team who gets the rebound, it's headed the other way. So we have to make sure that we, communicate with each other, hustle back on defense, build it from the inside out. I think it should be a fun game. It's always, a good one for communities being so close together. And I'm excited to, like you said, be back finally playing a game after what seems like forever.
Well, Coach Sarrar, good luck on tonight's game. Hopefully the Vikings can find a way to get 2025 off on a positive note.
Thank you.
You've been listening to Coach's Corner, with a look at tonight's game from the coach's point of view. This has been a presentation of the Northern Light Webcasting Network.
When it comes to making plans, you are the best. Remember the best planned 90 minutes of your life? Or that surprise party for your parents' golden anniversary? You get the golden planning. The same way you plan each detail for those moments, start planning to protect you and your loved ones from a natural disaster. Sign up for local weather and emergency alerts. Prepare an emergency kit and make a family communications plan. Protecting your family is the best plan you can make.
Welcome back to Viking Pregame. There have been no conference matchups in the Dunn St. Croix Conference over the holiday break. So taking a look at the results from that holiday action, we find on December 20th, the Onalaska Luther Knights defeated the Mondovi Buffaloes 38-30. Then on the 27th, the Elk Mound Mounders kept their undefeated record intact by defeating with a 53-31 victory the Altoona Railroaders. On the 28th, the Spring Valley Cardinals topped the Prairie Farm Panthers 48-31, and the Augusta Beavers bested the Elmwood Plum City Wolves 76-52. Now, last night, the Elk Mound Mounders traveled to Hammond, Wisconsin to face the St. Croix Central Panthers. We'll try to get you that score during tonight's game. So heading into 2025, the Dunn St. Croix Conference standings are as follows. In first place are the Elk Mound Mounders, who are 4-0. And in second place, we find the Mondovi Buffaloes at 3-0, and just a half a game out of first. In a tie for third place are the Durand, Arkansas Panthers with the Colfax Vikings. Both teams are at 2-1 and 1.5 games out of first. At 1-2 and in fifth place are the Boyceville Bulldogs. The Spring Valley Cardinals at 1-3 are 3 games back in sixth place, and the Glenwood City Hilltoppers and Elmwood Plum City Wolves are tied for seventh at 0-3, 3.5 games off the pace. Tonight, Teams from the Dunn St. Croix Conference continue non-conference play. In addition to the Vikings taking on the Bloomer Blackhawks in Bloomer, we find the Durand, Arkansas Panthers traveling to Somerset to face the Spartans. And the Boyceville Bulldogs will head over to Independence High School to face the Independence Gilmanton Indies. The Glenwood City Hilltoppers will do battle with the Luck Cardinals in Luck, while the Spring Valley Cardinals will host the Chautauqua Weyerhaeuser Bulldogs. Tonight, the Vikings are looking to get back into action following 3 weeks without a game. They need to quickly dust off any rust from that layoff, plus they'll need to demonstrate that they can produce a better effort than what they showed during that last game in Elk Mound. The Vikings will need to continue their in-your-face defense, as well as see the floor and move without the ball, pass accurately, and shoot on target. The Blackhawks are looking to turn the calendar and start the 2025 season on a high note. So the stage is set for some exciting high school girls basketball, and we'll have all the action for you right here on NLWN-TV. Now, in just a moment, our broadcast crew at Bloomer High School will bring you all the action of tonight's girls' game between the Colfax Vikings and the Bloomer Blackhawks. That's all coming up next. You've been tuned to Viking Pregame on NLWN-TV.
I don't remember how it started.
Go to that.
Our back and forth. It always came back. Dad! You probably don't remember what you told me,
That was perfect.
but I heard every word.
You've been tuned to Viking Pregame with a look at today's Colfax Vikings girls game. This has been a presentation of the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN-TV. Stay tuned. Coming up next is live Colfax Viking basketball.
It happens to everyone eventually. Your computer goes on the fritz. Fear not, Sladen's Technology Services can help. When your computer decides to not cooperate, it can be very frustrating. Let Sladen's Technology Services keep you from wanting to drive your computer right off a cliff. Sladen's Technology Services supports business of all sizes. They offer assistance with managed anti-malware, encrypted email, fast tech support, data backup, and recovery, and more. Call Sladen's Technology Services at 715-864-2833 and get the IT help you desire. Sladen's Technology Services is the official IT service for the Northern Light Webcasting Network.
Colfax Viking Girls Basketball is on the air.
Back over to Sierra Shipman. She spins at the top of the key, takes it into the lane, lays it up, and puts it in. Sierra Shipman with her first 2 points of the night.
The Northern Light Webcasting Network, along with NLWN-TV, is excited to bring you Colfax High School Girls Basketball.
Then over to the left side to Jordan, lays it up and puts it in.
Join us as we follow the Vikings as they battle their way through the Dunn St. Croix Conference.
To Goodell from three, she'd hit the three.
And now, out to the gym for today's Colfax Viking basketball.
Good evening, and welcome to Bloomer High School. Rick Olson with you, along with Lynn Nigaman, keeping the numbers for us tonight. Chris Olson getting ready to do his usual excellent work on the camera. And we're getting ready to bring you Colfax Vikings taking on the Bloomer Blackhawks. Blackhawks come into tonight's game with a 6-4 overall record. They are 1-3 in the West Dairyland Conference. And the Vikings come in with a record of 3 wins and 3 losses. They're 2-1 in the Dunn St. Croix Conference. However, the Vikings have been gameless for 3 weeks. They were supposed to play a game right before the holiday break, and that got snowed out by our one and only snowstorm this year. And so that was against the Elmwood Plum City Wolves. That game will be made up on February 4th as part of a girls and boys doubleheader at Colfax High School. Taking a look at the starting lineups for today's game. First of all, for the Vikings, they'll start off with number 4, senior guard, 5'6", Kaysen Goodell. Then junior 5'6" guard, number 12, Jordan Bovey. Also at guard, 5'6" junior, number 30, Sierra Shipman. Then at forward, 5'7" junior, number 34, Bryn Sikora. And 5'11" junior forward, number 44, Clara Hajdukovic. For the Bloomer Blackhawks, this is going to be one of those first name games because they're starting with sophomore number 1, Aaliyah Hartman. Then number 2 sophomore, Briella Hartman. And number 3 sophomore, Sierra Hartman. So we're, I think, going to go with Aaliyah, Briella, and Sierra. Then number 5 sophomore, Grace Critchie. And number 23 junior, Brooke Petska. And while we're waiting to get things started, we're going to take a little bit of a timeout and hear some words from our sponsors as you're tuned to Viking basketball on NLWN-TV.
500.
That's right. The Northern Light Webcasting Network will soon be broadcasting its 500th event. Join us on January 6th as we celebrate this momentous occasion. We have special rewards for our loyal followers simply by tuning in. So, help us celebrate our 500th broadcast when the Colfax Viking Girls take on the St. Croix Central Panthers on Monday, January 6th at 6:40 p.m. on NLWN-TV and NLWN-2.
The teen years are a great time for your child to gain practical experience in managing finances. Perhaps he or she already has a summer job lined up. A free checking account at Derry State Bank can help teens learn to set a budget, track spending, use a debit card, make deposits, and more. Plus, parents are account co-owners and have the ability to supervise the learning process. Give us a call today. Derry State Bank. Banking on relationships. Member FDIC.
When you have that craving for a home-cooked meal the way Mom used to make it, rest assured, you can still get that meal by going to Mom's Restaurant and Pub in Colfax. Mom's is open daily, serving breakfast and lunch, and don't forget dinner on Friday nights with Mom's famous fish fry. The coffee is always hot, the breakfast is always delicious, and lunch will put a smile on your face and in your stomach. 225 Bremer Avenue, Colfax. Call 715-962-4617. That's Mom's Restaurant and Pub.
NLWN-2 is once again excited to be your host for Colfax High School Boys Basketball throughout the 2024 through 2025 season.
This is what we came here for!
Our next game will be on Tuesday, January 7th, when the Vikings play host to the Bloomer Blackhawks. Coverage begins with Viking pregame at 6:40 p.m. with live play-by-play to follow. That's live Colfax Viking Boys Basketball on Tuesday, January 7th on NLWN-2.
And we're back here at Bloomer High School, getting ready for the opening tip-off of today's game. We'll also have the national anthem and we have the starting lineups for today's game. And we're having a little bit of camera difficulty getting those real wide corner shots.
The Blackhawks, the Viking Girls. We welcome you as guests and immigrants, Bloomer Blackhawks. Hope you'll enjoy this tournament, leaving deep memories of fair and friendly competition. Bloomer Conference has a long-standing reputation for quality sports competition and outstanding athletes. In order to retain this reputation and to make this event a positive educational experience, we ask that athletes, coaches, and fans conduct themselves in a sportsmanlike manner. At this time, to honor America and those defending our freedom, we ask those who are able to please rise for the playing of our national anthem.
And that's the playing of our national anthem.
And now let's meet and we're at lineup for the Colfax Viking Girls. In the senior, Jason. A junior, number 12, George McKay. Junior, number 30, Sierra Shikman. Junior, number 34, Green Sarah. And another junior, number 44, Sarah. And Julia. That goes for the Colfax is Miss Felicia. She's a 69 Johnson, and Carly Taser. And now, here she comes. A sophomore, number 1, yes. Sophomore, wearing number 2, Faith. Sophomore, wearing number 3, Sierra. And his sophomore, wearing number 5, Grace Tracy. The junior, wearing number 23, Brother Katska. Which goes to the third is the director of training assisted by Young Gaming and the Eliminator.
And there's the starting lineups for tonight's game.
Mr. Travis Lowy and
again, it's for the Blackhawks. It's Hartman, Krejci, and Petska. Aaliyah, Briella, and Sierra are the three Hartmans. For the Vikings, Goodell, Bovey, Shipman, Sikora, and Hajdukovic. Hajdukovic going to be jumping center against Grace Krejci. I actually had to do a little research on the pronunciation of that last name before today's game. And the tip is controlled by the Blackhawks. They get it over to the left side to Briella. Back out, high swing it over to Sierra. And her pass over to the left side goes out of bounds. It'll be Viking ball. Vikings hoping they don't have too much rust to dig off. 3 weeks since they've last played. Ball gets tipped out of bounds out of Goodell's hands by Sierra Hartman, so it'll be Viking ball on the right side. Bovey to inbound. Gets it to Goodell. She's between the circles. Feeds it over to the top of the key to Sikora. Then over to Shipman. Back out high to Goodell. Three-pointer on the way. No, off the back of the iron. And the ball goes out of bounds. It's going to be Bloomer ball. So the Blackhawks bring it down the floor. This is Briella feeding it down to Krejci. Then a shot from the left corner that's good for 3 by Aaliyah Hartman. And Bloomer draws first blood. Goodell with it at the top of the key. Feeds it over to the right side to Bovey. Then to Hajdukovic. Back out high to Sikora. And then over to Bovey. She's high, wide, and right. Feeds it to the free throw line to Goodell. She puts a shot up. It's off the back of the air. Rebound gets tipped around. Hajdukovic comes away with it, and she got fouled as she tried to go back up. And the foul's going to be on Grace Krejci. That's the first foul on anybody in this game. Ball comes in to Hajdukovic. She puts it up. It's off the glass. No good. She gets the rebound, puts it up and in. Clara Hajdukovic with the first 2 points for the Vikings. Bloomer still on top by 1, 3-2. They feed it over to the right side to Aaliyah. Back out high to Krejci. Krejci puts up the shot, no good. Aaliyah gets the rebound, puts it up, no good. Vikings come away with it. Goodell brings it across the timeline, over to the right side. Feeds it over to Bovey, then out to Sikora, high, wide, and right. Takes it to the free throw line, spins, feeds it underneath to Hajdukovic, puts it up, overlaid it. Sikora with the rebound, puts it up and in. Vikings take the lead at 4-3, and the Blackhawks have it. Briella with it over on the right side, drives down underneath, lays it up, and she overlaid it, and she got fouled. I think it's on Hajdukovic. It is. That's the first foul on the Vikings. First foul on Hajdukovic. 15:52 to go. Briella Hartman. First shot is up, no good. And the second shot is up. That's also no good. Rebound tied up. Briella comes away with it. Feeds it out to Aaliyah. Back to Briella on the right corner. Back out high to Aaliyah, then to Briella. Or check that was Sierra. Now it's out. The shot goes up by Petska. No good. Aaliyah tries to put up the rebound, and it got partially blocked, and the Vikings come down the floor. Goodell at the free throw line. Feeds it over to the right side to Shipman, who drives into the lane, tries to lay it up, puts it in.
Sierra.
6-3, Vikings on top. Blackhawks have it at the top of the key. Feed it over to the right side. That's Sierra Hartman. Put it up, no good. And the rebound taken out of there by Goodell. Goodell at the top of the key. Feeds it into the lane to Bovey, and she put it up and in. Nice cut into the lane that time by Bovey, and she just laid it up and in. 8-3, Vikings on top. That's Briella putting the shot up. It's no good. And the rebound, and got a jump ball. Possession arrow in favor of the Vikings. Thank you. Goodell with the ball. She brings it down across the timeline, feeds it over to the left side to Shipman. Out to the top of the key to Hajdukovic, feeds it underneath to Sikora. Turnaround jumper off the front of the air, no good. Hajdukovic put it up, but we got a whistle. We're going to get a foul on Hajdukovic reaching over the back. That's her second personal. Second team foul on the Vikings. Checking into the game for the Vikings is Layla Hurlbert.
Layla Hurlbert, 24.
The 5'7" junior. Blackhawks bring it down the floor. Hurlbert knocks the ball away. Goodell has it, drives into the lane, lays it up, and puts it in. 10-3, the Vikings on top. Long pass down to Aaliyah, and it's just out of her reach, out of bounds. It'll be Viking ball on the baseline. Sikora to inbound. Sends it into Goodell. Goodell across the timeline. Goodell has it between the circles. Over to Bovey on the right side. Feeding it down underneath, and it's out of bounds. Also into the lineup for the Vikings is Lyric Nichols. Vikings putting on some pressure. Blackhawks break it on the right side. With Krejcik. Then they feed it back out high and over to Briella. Briella over to the right side to Sierra. Then to Aaliyah and back out high. That's Petska. Shots up, no good. And coming down is Goodell. Over to Hurlbert, back to Goodell, to Nichols. She's high, wide, and left. Takes it to the free throw line. Gets it to Sikora. Sikora puts it up. It won't go. And down the floor come the Blackhawks. This is Briella on the dribble. She's on the right side. Gets it out high to Krejci. Krejci over to Briella. Briella out high to Sierra, and her pass gets taken away by the Vikings. Goodell with it at the timeline, gets across. Takes it over to the right side, lays it up, and we have a whistle and a foul. And Goodell's going to go to the line for two as the foul is called on Sierra Hartman.
Sierra.
That's her first personal, second team foul on the Blackhawks. Case and Goodell at the line. First shot is up. It's no good.
Case and Goodell. Vikings. Back in for Colfax, number 30, Sierra Sherman. And in for Bloomer, number 25, Delaney.
Shipman into the lineup for Bovey. Goodell's shot is up, and that one rattles home. 11-3, Vikings on top by 8. And down the floor come the Blackhawks, still in the backcourt. Good pressure being put on by the Vikings. Petska guarded by Nichols. Then she gets it down there. Three-point shot on the way, no good. That was by Krejci. Now a three-pointer by... And the rebound put back up and in. The original three-pointer was by Goodell, and it didn't go. And then that one went in by Sierra Shipman. And we're going to take a timeout. And you're tuned to Viking Girls Basketball on NLWN-TV.
To get your lawn or garden to perform at attracting what you want, you first need to know what your soil is working with. That's where Midwest Environmental Consultants can help. Their soil testing service can give you a complete rundown on your soil's nutrition and health. They test for nitrogen levels, phosphorus, potash, micronutrients, minerals, pH, and organic matter. Let Midwest Environmental Consultants put you in control of your soil's health. Call Midwest Environmental Consultants at 608-468-2067. That's Midwest Environmental Consultants, serving Western Wisconsin.
Blackhawks with the ball. Full court pressure being put on by the Vikings. They break the pressure. Aaliyah with it, passes along the baseline. That's to Helland. Now back out high. That's Petska. Three-pointer by Petska. So it's 13-6. Vikings by 7. Goodell feeds it over to the left side to Shipman. She pulls up her dribble, gives it to Hurlburt, feeds it to Nichols in the lane, tries to go up, partially blocked, and we're going to get a jump ball called down along the baseline. Shipman got tied up down there.
Back in for Colfax, 12, Jordan Bovey. Also check in number 10. And for Bloomer, number 6.
So Bovey back in. Adeline Acker is into the lineup for the Vikings as well. Blackhawks with a three-pointer on the way. It's no good. Long rebound chased down by the Blackhawks. Aaliyah puts it up. His shot's no good. It bounced off the rim and then off the strap, which made it out of bounds, even though it did bounce down through the net. So no basket on that one for the Blackhawks. And down the floor come the Vikings. Bovey with it. Feeds it over to the right side. To Hurlburt, she tries to put it up. She got fouled driving into the lane. I believe it's on Petska. It is. That's going to be the third foul on the Blackhawks. First foul on Petska. And the shot is up and good. I changed it. That was Helland that the foul was on. Second shot on the way. It's off the front of the iron. No good. 14-6. Vikings up by 8. Blackhawks with it on the right side. Driving into the lane. Laying it up and in is Briella Hartman. 11 minutes remaining in the first half. Vikings on top. Hurlburt puts up a long one from the outside. No good. And the Blackhawks come away with the rebound. Briella with it. Drives into the lane. Feeds it back to the outside. Long shot from there is off the back of the air. No good. That was a shot by Helland. And down the floor come the Vikings. Sikora feeds it to Bovey. Puts it up. It rolls off the back of the iron. And the Blackhawks have it. Bovey was open. Took it in there. Had a good look. It just didn't go down for her. Petska drives the baseline. Puts it up. No good. Shipman with, or not Shipman, Sikora with the rebound. Sikora got the ball knocked away, but she got it back. And we get a timeout call by the Vikings. Sikora was kind of bottled up over on the side. Vikings on top, 14-8 as you're tuned to Viking basketball on NLWN-TV. TV. Anderson Bridges, located in Colfax, Wisconsin, has been manufacturing prefabricated steel truss bridges since 1989. With hundreds of bridges supplied nationwide, we suspect you've crossed our path. It may have been on a pedestrian or bicycle bridge, or how about a snowmobile, ATV, or golf course bridge? Anderson Bridges is likely to have manufactured it. Founded in 1989, Anderson Bridges has been a family-owned company since its beginning and are proud to support the Colfax Vikings. Vikings to inbound the ball over on the far side. Bovey with it. She gets it in to Goodell. Goodell feeds it to the right elbow, and then down underneath the Bovey, puts it up off the glass and in. Jordan Bovey with 4 points on the night. Briella has it, gets it to Petska at the top of the key. Then down to Sierra, drives the baseline, puts it up and in. Sierra Hartman. Vikings up by 6. Goodell with it at the free throw line. Feeds it over to the left side to Nichols. Or check that. That's not Nichols. That's Acker. Now into the lane. Acker feeds it out to Goodell. It's no good. Rebound chased down by the Vikings. Bovey has it. Drives into the lane. Puts it up. No good. And the Blackhawks come down the floor. Hartman with it. Now they swing it around. Petska with a long three. No good. Rebound. Chased down by Shipman. Gets it to Goodell. Goodell at the top of the key. Spins in the lane. To Bovey. Three-pointer on the way. Off the iron. No good. Petska with it. Feeds it over to the far side. To Aaliyah. And then to Hartman with a three-pointer on the way. Off the iron. No good. One of the things Coach Serrar said, they like the three. And they are sure showing it tonight. Goodell with it. Feeds it over to Shipman. To Sikora. Puts it up. Rolls around the rim. Won't fall. Vikings getting some good looks. Down along the baseline. And we're going to get a blocking foul called. I think it's going to be on Sikora. It is.
Next falls under 30. Sikora.
That's the third foul on the Vikings. That's her first personal. And Aaliyah Hartman at the line for 2. First shot's on the way. It's good.
Back in for Bloomer number 1. And back in for
Nichols comes into the lineup.
number 24. The great people.
Replacing Acker. The second shot is up. It's also good. Cuts the Viking lead to 4 with 8:22 to go in the first half. Jason Goodell with the ball right through the middle of the center circle. Tries to feed it over to Nichols. Got tipped out of bounds. Tipped off of Petska. Or check that. That was tipped off of Hartman. At 25 and 23 look very similar. Goodell with it. Gets it to Sikora. Out to Nichols. Nichols drives to the baseline. Tries to put it up. Partially blocked. Gets her own rebound. And put it up and in. Lyric Nichols with the 2. 18-12. Vikings up by 6. Blackhawks have it. They swing it around. Hartman has it. High, wide, and right. Gets it back out to the top of the key. Now they get it over to Brazina, who's into the lineup. To Hartman. Hartman again, high, wide, and right, being tied up, and we're going to get a jump ball.
The ball was into the Vikings.
Shipman hanging in there and getting her hands on it, tying up Hartman, and the Vikings get the ball back as Goodell brings it across the timeline. To Sikora. To Nichols. To Shipman. Ball's almost stolen. Goodell with the shot, no good. Rebound put back up and in. That was by Shipman.
Sierra.
20-12. Vikings back up by 8. Hartman with it. Swing it back around to the left side. That's Briella. Feeds it back out to Hartman, to Sierra, to Aaliyah. Back to Sierra, three-pointer on the way. It's good. Sierra Hartman with the 3. 20-15. Vikings up by 5. Hovey with it. On the left side, drives into the lane. She puts it up. It won't go. Gets her own rebound and got fouled.
Winner calls number 2, Brianna Hartman. Reversed. Team 4.
That foul is on Briella Hartman. It's her first personal. 4th team foul against the Blackhawks. Vikings to inbound. Pass comes in to Goodell. On the left side. Drives into the lane. On the right side, layup. Puts it up and in.
Senior. For 2.
22-15. Vikings by 7. Petsko with it. Feeds it over to the far side to Brzezina. Then to Aaliyah, and then out to Hartman. Hartman looking to go somewhere. Now she dribbles it on the left side. And the ball's loose on the floor. Going down to tie it up. And it's possession arrow in favor of the Blackhawks. Layla Hurlbert into the lineup, replacing Nichols. Pass comes in to Aaliyah Hartman. Three-pointer. 22-18. Vikings up by 4. Goodell with it. At the top of the key, she backs out between the circles over to Bovey on the left side. Bovey drives into the lane. Ball gets tipped away out of bounds. It's going to be Viking ball. Bovey to inbound. They feed it in to Shipman. She went up with it and got fouled. So she's going to go to the line for 2.
Fouls on number 3,
Sierra Hartman with her second personal, 5th team foul on the Blackhawks. 3 fouls on the Vikings. 5:43 to go. First shot by Shipman is good.
Back in for Bloomer number 2, Briella Hartman.
Briella Hartman back into the lineup for the Blackhawks. 23-18. Vikings on top. Second shot up, and that one's also good. 24-18. Vikings by 6. Briella across the timeline. Feeds it down low to Brzezina. Ball gets tipped out of bounds. Oh, we got a foul.
34.
Fouls on Sikora. It's her second personal. That's the 4th team foul on the Vikings.
Back in for the number 24.
Nichols coming back in as Shipman's going to take a seat. Ball comes in to Briella. She takes it to the top of the key, feeds it over to the left side, then into the lane. Layup shot is no good, and the Vikings come down with it. That was Hartman with the shot. Goodell with the ball. Shipman putting up a 3. No, in and out. It won't go. And down the floor come the Blackhawks. They get it to Aaliyah, then to Briella. High, wide, and right. Then down in the corner. Shot goes up. No good. Rebound chased down by Goodell. Goodell pulls up an 8-footer. No good. And down the floor comes Briella. Down to Krejci, then to Brzezina, and then they get it over on the far side to Petska, but a foul came before she laid it in. Fouls on Goodell. 15 foul on the Vikings. Both teams have 5 now. First foul on Goodell. 4:43 remaining in the first half. Pass comes in, shot goes up, and it's good. Three-pointer by Petska, and it's 24-21, narrows the lead to 3 by the Vikings. Goodell with it. Feeds it over to Hurlburt. Ball gets knocked away, and Blackhawks have it, but stolen back by the Vikings. Goodell has it. She's out between the circles. Feeds it over to Nichols, down into the right corner now to Bovey. Bovey drives the baseline, puts it up. No, off the side of the backboard. And down the floor come the Blackhawks. Aaliyah out to Krejci. Back to Aaliyah. To Briella. They swing it around the right side. Briella has it now out high. Brzezina. This is Petska. Pass underneath. Brzezina puts it up. It won't go. Brzezina gets her own rebound. Feeds it out to Krejci, but the ball gets taken away by Shipman. Shipman down the floor. Ball got knocked out of her hands and out of bounds.
Back in for Bloomer. For 25, Delaney and back in for Colfax, number 34.
Helland into the game for Bloomer, and Sikora back in for the Vikings. Goodell feeds it over to Sikora. She's at the top of the key. Now they swing it over to the right side. Goodell tried the baseline, back out again. Out to Bovey. Then to Sikora, now on the left side. Sierra Shipman with it, tries the baseline, feeds it back out to Bovey. Then over to Sikora, to Goodell. Goodell, the ball got knocked away, and down the floor come the Blackhawks. And we're going to get a travel call as Briella took an extra step trying to turn around. Acker into the lineup, replacing Goodell. 2:58 to go in half number 1. Vikings up by 3. Bovey with it, gets it over to Shipman, then to Sikora. Back out high to Acker. Back over to Sikora, drives the baseline, feeds it out to Nichols. Nichols out to Acker, drives into the lane, kicks it back out to Bovey and gets it to Acker. Then to Shipman, three-pointer on the way. It's no good. And down the floor come the Blackhawks. They get it over to Helland and then down low to Krejci. She's on the floor and the ball got foul called against the Blackhawks. Foul's going to be on Petska. It's her first 16th foul. So from here on out, the Vikings will be at the line with the 1-and-1. But for now, it's Bovey bringing it down the floor. She feeds it over to the right elbow on the give and go, and Bovey lays it up and in. She gave it to Sikora on the elbow, who handed it off to Bovey, who took it around and put it in. Petska with it. Over to Aaliyah, back out high to Helland on the right side. Three-pointer on the way is no good. Rebound taken down by Krejci. They get it back out high to Briella. And to Petska. Now driving in is Krejci. She puts it up. They're going to say count the basket. We've got a foul. And the foul is going to be on Sierra Shipman.
Krejci at the line to shoot 1.
26-23, Vikings on top by 3. Krejci with her +1 here, and it's no good. Rebound taken down by Sikora. Bovey with it. Under a minute and a half to go in the half. Don't forget, coming up at halftime, we have a Viking profile. It'll be Jenny Maves today. Bovey with the dribble. Now she feeds it over to the right side to Shipman. Drives into the lane, lays it up, overlaid it. And a little hard off the glass that time and quickly down the floor come the Blackhawks, driving the baseline, putting it up, no good. That was Briella. And down the floor come the Vikings. Sikora tries to feed it out to Nichols, who lost the handle. Here's Helen, and she lost her footing, and the ball went out of bounds. It'll be Viking ball. 46 seconds remaining in the half. Goodell into the lineup, replacing Nichols. Goodell with it. Gets it over to the right side to Bovey. Then back out high to Acker. Out of Shipman, then to Goodell. To Bovey. Vikings running some clock here. Acker over to Shipman to Goodell. Out to Bovey. High, wide, and right. 15 seconds remaining. Goodell with it. Feeding it into the lane. Misconnected on the pass. 7.5 seconds remaining. Vikings going to put some pressure on as the Blackhawks inbound it. Petska with it. Feeds it over to Briella. Briella drives into the lane. She puts it up, and it goes in. Right at the buzzer. And that makes it a 1-point game at halftime. Vikings 26, Blackhawks 25. As you're tuned to Viking basketball, coming up in just a minute, we have Viking halftime on NLWN-TV.
C&K Construction is your source for high-quality concrete and construction work in the Chippewa Valley. Established in 2014, C&K Construction in Chippewa Falls is a leading concrete contractor proud to serve Eau Claire, Altoona, Menominee, and surrounding areas. Specializing in concrete construction, excavating, flatwork poured walls, and much more, they're right for all of your concrete needs. Call C&K Construction in Chippewa Falls at 715-559-1335.
Hear that? That's the sound of your life. Perfectly imperfect. But every time you drive after drinking, the music gets drowned out. Your life sounds pretty great. Don't let a buzz ruin it. Buzzed driving is drunk driving. Don't drive buzzed.
Time now for Viking halftime, with today's Viking profile and other halftime entertainment. That's coming up right after this.
Time now for Viking Profile, where we take a closer look at one of the Colfax Viking players. And now, Viking Profile.
Today on Viking Profile, we're talking with Jenny Maves, who's a junior here at Colfax High School. And Jenny, we know that you play basketball, but are there other activities that you're involved with here at school?
I'm in powerlifting.
Okay, all right. Get in there and push that iron, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So when did you start playing basketball, and what kind of an experience has that been for you?
I started in 4th grade. It's been fun. Like, I've grown up and become great friends with the other 5 players that I've grown up with, playing with the whole time. But
okay, so what's the most important thing you've learned playing basketball?
To trust your teammates. Like, don't expect to be able to do everything yourself, and if you get in a tough situation, just trust them.
Okay, very good. So when you're not playing basketball or you're not here at school, what are some other things that keep you busy or occupied?
I like to read. I play video games. I've gotten into video games recently. I like to color. I love coloring books.
Okay.
Yeah.
And they make some really complicated ones now, don't they?
Yeah, they do.
Okay. All right, here's our trademark questions. Pie, ice cream, cake, or cookies?
Pie.
Which kind?
I like pecan pie.
Ooh, yeah, especially if it's made right. And those southern pecan pies are just to die for, yes. Hot dog, burger, or brats?
Depends on the weather, but probably a burger 9 times out of 10.
And what do you want on that burger?
Everything. I like my burgers loaded.
Loaded up.
Yep.
Mushrooms?
No.
No. Okay, loaded up with everything, but hold the mushrooms.
Of course.
Okay, yeah, okay. All right, your favorite color and why?
Purple. I don't really have a reason. I just like purple.
You know, that's as good a reason as there could be. You just like it, right?
Yeah.
Okay. If you could have a superpower, what do you think that might be?
I think I would like to be invisible. I think that I could pull a lot of good pranks if I was invisible.
Okay. All right. So now, if Jenny has the ability to be invisible, of course you have to have a superhero name to go with that. So what's Jenny's superhero name?
Oh, that's a difficult one. The disappearing disaster.
The disappearing disaster. Okay. All right. We'll remember that one. Okay. Your favorite NBA or WNBA team?
I don't watch either of them.
Okay, and that's okay. That's fine.
Really don't.
How about a college team? Do you watch any of that?
Not really. I don't like watching sports. I prefer to play them.
Okay. And who would be a sports personality that you could sit down with from any time in history, any sport, that you could sit down and pick their brain just to learn more?
Maybe Caitlin Clark. I know I've seen a lot of her videos, like clips, and she seems like she would be inspirational and give me some good tips and pointers and whatnot.
Okay, very good. So we're talking with Jenny Maves today on Viking Profile. And Jenny, what are your plans for after high school?
I hope to go to UW-Madison and become a surgeon.
Very good. So when I need that bit of surgery done, I just call Jenny, right?
Of course.
All right. How about a shout out to the family?
Just my mom. I love my mom. She's my best friend.
And you can't leave mom out, right?
No.
It's important. All right. When people watch Viking games, where should they look for you on the floor?
The bench.
But when you go out on the floor, where are they going to put you?
Like on the elbow, or I shoot a lot of corner threes.
Okay. We want to thank Jenny Maves for joining us today on Viking Profile. Coming up next, more Viking Halftime.
You've been listening to Viking Profile. This has been a presentation of the Northern Light Webcasting Network.
Losing the fear of looking foolish comes with age.
Who did you steal him from?
Losing your way in your own home doesn't. Confusion with time and place may be a sign of Alzheimer's.
Mom, are you okay? Yeah, I'm fine.
Early detection gives you and your loved one time to plan for the future. Learn the warning signs of Alzheimer's.
Thousands of kids start vaping, and I can't let this happen to my kid. So if you want to talk to your kids, you have to get it trendy.
No, you're doing it wrong.
Let's go.
Can we talk?
Yeah, what's up?
Visit talkaboutvaping.org for tips on when and how to have the vape talk.
You've been tuned to Viking Halftime. Stay tuned. Coming up is second half action of today's Viking game on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN-TV.
Elmer loves to giggle. Elmer's mommy told him that laughing can help when you have a big feeling, like when you feel happy.
make sure to celebrate when you're happy and laugh it off. Love your mind.
And we're back here at Bloomer High School getting ready to start the second half of today's game with the Vikings clinging to a 26-25 lead. They've led through most of the first half. Bloomer scored first, but after that it's been all Vikings. But lately, Bloomer's been making a run and got it back to within one. And looking how we got there, scoring leaders for Bloomer, Aaliyah Hartman and Briella Hartman each have 6 points. Aaliyah's are both on three-pointers. Sierra Hartman has a field goal and a three-pointer for 5 points. Oh, and don't forget about Brooke Petska as a pair of three-pointers for 6 points. And Grace Critchie has 2 points. For the Vikings, leading the way is Sierra Shipman, has 3 field goals and 2 free throws. She's 2 for 2 from the line for 8 points. She's followed by Jordan Bovey with 3 field goals for 6. And after that, we've got Kaysen Goodell with 5 points. And Lyric Nichols, Bryn Sikora, and Clara Hajdukovic with 2 each. And let's not forget about Layla Hurlbert with 1 for 2 from the free throw line for 1 point. Hey, don't forget, coming up, we've got our 500th broadcast. That'll be on Monday, and it will be on both NLWN-TV and NLWN-2. And we have some pretty snazzy shirts that we're going to be giving away to people who are listening to that game. And you'll have to pay attention. You'll have to tune in, find out how to get yours at no cost to you, courtesy of the Northern Light Webcasting Network. Our 500th broadcast coming up on Monday. In fact, if Lynn stands up, Chris can give us a preview of what these shirts are going to look like here. There's Lynn with our pretty cool shirts. Vikings have the ball to start the second half. They feed it into the lane to Hajdukovic, and she puts it up no good. She gets her own rebound, but it got knocked out of bounds. Check that was Bovey who got the rebound, but it got knocked out of bounds. They're saying off of Bovey, and so the Blackhawks have it. We're underway in half number 2, and down the floor are the Blackhawks. Let's go with it, driving the baseline, and we're going to get a foul on Bovey. That's 12. First foul on the Vikings. That's her first personal foul as well. So Jordan Bovey with the foul. Blackhawks inbound. They feed it into Aaliyah. Then out to Sierra. Those are all the Hartmans if I'm using a first name. This is Briella. Then to Petska. Petska down into the corner to Briella. Three-pointer on the way. No good. Rebound taken down by Goodell. Vikings moving from left to right now. Goodell backs up into the center circle. Now feeds it over to the right side to Shipman. Shipman at the free throw line out to Sikora. Jump shot is good for 3.
Points.
Bryn Sikora with a 3. Down the floor come the Blackhawks. They feed it out to high, and Briella Hartman with a 3. So the Vikings put up a 3, and the Blackhawks answer. Goodell with it to Sikora. Out to Shipman. To Hajdukovic. At the top of the key. Feeds it over to Goodell, and the pass got tipped away by Krejci. And down the floor come the Blackhawks. Sierra out to Briella, to Aaliyah. They swing it around to the right side. Petska has it. Back out high. This is Briella with a 3. No good. Hajdukovic with the rebound. Gave it off to Goodell. Goodell at the top of the key. Feeding it over to the left side now. To Bovey. Underneath the Sikora. Puts it up and it goes in. Bryn Sikora. Makes it 31-28. Vikings by 3. Briella Hartman with it. Feeds it over to the right side to Krejci, lays it up. It's no good, and we're going to get a blocking foul being called on Sikora.
Vikings foul number 34.
That's a third foul on Sikora.
Her personal second team foul.
Krejci's at the line. She's 0 for 1 from the free throw line so far. First shot's up and good, so make her 1 for 2. Grace Krejci, second shot is up, but that's also good. 31-30, Vikings still on top by 1. Goodell with the ball. Feeds it over to the left side to Bovey. Bovey drives into the lane, puts it up and in. Jordan Bovey. I think that's 8 points for her. Shot goes up, it's partially blocked and out of bounds. It'll be Viking ball. Coach was a little bit curious about that, and to be honest with you, so am I. So down the floor comes Goodell. Feeds it over to Shipman on the right side. Back out to Sikora at the top of the key. To Goodell on the left. She drives the left baseline, puts it up, puts it in. Basket counts. And she drew the harm. And the foul is going to be on Aaliyah Hartman. It's her first team foul on the Blackhawks. So Goodell at the line for the +1. It's on the way. No good. Rebound chased down by the Blackhawks. Briella with it. Across the timeline. Top of the key. Feeds it over to Sierra. Three-pointer. She hit it. Sierra Hartman with the 3. 35-33. Vikings by 2. Goodell on the give and go, but the pass gets intercepted by Sierra Hartman. And she brings it down the floor, gets it to Aaliyah on the right baseline. They get it back out to Petska. They swing it around. This is Briella on the left side. Out to Aaliyah at top of the key. And then this is Petska into the lane. We've got a whistle. She tried to split the difference, and it's going to be a foul on Bovey. That's a second foul on Bovey. Third foul on the Vikings. Petska to inbound for the Blackhawks. She gets it into Briella. Out to Aaliyah, three-pointer on the way, in and out, no good. Rebound taken down by Sikora. Goodell with it. Feeds it over to the left side to Shipman, to Hajdukovic at the top of the key. Down into the lane to Sikora. Back out to Bovey. Bovey on the right side, then out to Goodell. She hit the 3! 38-33. Vikings up by 5. Krejci drives the baseline, puts it up. It's no good. Tries to put a second one up. No good. Rebound. Controlled that time by the Blackhawks, but the shot gets blocked, and Goodell comes down with it for the Vikings. Drives the lane, lays it up. It's a little over hard. And down the floor quickly come the Blackhawks. Three-pointer by Aaliyah. Shot's no good. Rebound taken down by Goodell. Under 13 and a half. Goodell with it in the center circle. And the ball gets tipped out of bounds by Sierra.
Bringing in for the Blackhawks, number 25, Delaney Clay.
Hurlburt and Nichols into the lineup for the Vikings. So Goodell has it. Goodell feeds it over to the right side to Bovey, back out high to Hurlburt. Then to Sikora. Sikora stops in the lane, feeds it out to Hurlburt, puts up a 3 off the iron, no good. Rebound, and we're going to get a foul underneath. That foul's going to be on Delaney Helland. It's her second team foul. And a substitute coming in for the Blackhawks. It's Libby Brazina checking in, replacing Krejci. Vikings feed it in to Sikora. She puts up a short jumper. It's no good. And the Blackhawks bring it down the floor. They feed it over to Helland in the left corner. Now she drives into the lane, puts it up. It doesn't go. Rebound taken down by Nichols. They feed it to Sikora. Over to Goodell. And then to Bovey. To Nichols. To Hurlbert. Three-pointer off the board, off the rim and out. And down the floor come the Blackhawks. This is Sierra. She hit the three. Sierra Hartman makes it a 2-point game. 38-36. That three-pointer is keeping the Blackhawks in the game. Goodell with it. Stops in the lane. Gets it out to Nichols. Puts it up. No good. Pass down low, and it's out of bounds. Looked to me like they're going to award it to the Blackhawks.
And 30, Sierra.
Shipman back into the lineup. Adeline Acker also into the lineup for the Vikings. Pass comes in. This is Petska, stops in the lane. Her pass gets intercepted by Goodell. She puts up the layup, and it won't go down for her. Rebound taken down by Shipman, and she got fouled going back up with it by Petska.
Her foul is 23, Brooke Petska. Second personal.
That's her second personal.
Shipman
3 fouls on the Blackhawks this half. Both teams have 3. Shipman's free throw is up off the back of the iron, no good. Second shot on the way up the front of the iron, no good. Rebound taken down by Bovey. She put it up and got foul going up. And I think this is going to be a foul on Helland. It is. The foul is on Helland. 4th team foul on the Blackhawks. That's the 3rd foul on Helland. So Jordan Bovey at the line. First shot is up. It's good. By the way, at halftime up in Turtle Lake, it's the Turtle Lake Lakers 35 and the Viking boys 18. Second shot on the way is no good. By the way, that game is on our sister channel, NLWN-2. Blackhawks have it. Helland with a 3-pointer on the way, no good. Rebound taken out of there by Bovey. Bovey takes it over to the left side, feeds it off to Sikora. Sikora back out to Goodell. Then to Acker. Then to Shipman. To Bovey. In the right corner. Back out high to Sikora. 3-pointers off the mark. And the Blackhawks come back down with it. They feed it down into the left corner. Briella puts it up no good. She overlaid it. And the Vikings come back down the floor. Goodell with it at the top of the key. Feeds it over to the left side. Bovey has it, gets it down to Sikora. Sikora looking for somewhere to go. She tries to put it up. She didn't draw the foul, didn't get the shot to go, but she gets the rebound. They feed it out, but intercepted by Briella Hartman. She takes it the distance, and we're going to get a blocking foul called against Goodell. May have been a pretty smart foul that time because she had an open layup otherwise.
For Goodell. Second for team 4.
That's the second personal on Goodell. 4th team again, or 4th foul against the Vikings. First free throw is up, no good. By Sierra Hartman. Clara Hajdukovic back into the lineup for the Vikings. Replacing Adeline Acker. Second shot is up and good by Sierra Hartman. 2-point game. Vikings up by 2, 39-37. Shipman with it. Gets it out to Hajdukovic. Hajdukovic over to Goodell. Goodell stops at the free throw line. Gets it over to Sikora. Sikora over to Bovey. Bovey tries to drive the baseline. She lays it up. It goes in, and it's going to count. Basket by Bovey. And the foul is going to be on Aaliyah Hartman. It's her second personal 15 foul. Jordan Bovey at the line for the +1. It's off the front of the iron, no good. Rebound taken down by the Blackhawks. Petska feeds it down to Aaliyah, puts up the shot, no good. Rebound hustled for that time by Bovey. She tries to feed it to Hajdukovic, who wasn't really looking for it. So the Blackhawks have it. And we get a timeout on the floor by the Blackhawks. 9:54 to go in the second half. Vikings on top, 41-37, and you're tuned to Viking basketball on NLWN-TV.
Mom's Restaurant and Pub in Colfax has just what you need when you have that craving for a home-cooked meal the way Mom used to make it. Mom's is open from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. daily and until 9 on Fridays with a complete breakfast menu. Lunch includes sandwiches, salads, wraps, and burgers, along with Mom's comfort food favorites, and don't forget dinner on Fridays with Mom's famous fish fry. The coffee always hot, the breakfast always delicious, and lunch puts a smile on your face. 225 Bremer Avenue, Colfax. Call 715-962-4617. That's Mom's Restaurant and Pub in Colfax.
500.
That's right. The Northern Light Webcasting Network will soon be broadcasting its 500th event. Join us on January 6th as we celebrate this momentous occasion. We have special rewards for our loyal followers simply by tuning in. So, help us celebrate our 500th broadcast when the Colfax Viking Girls take on the St. Croix Central Panthers on Monday, January 6th at 6:40 p.m. on NLWN-TV and NLWN-2.
And you saw what those shirts looked like when Lynn modeled it for us at halftime. There you go, Lynn. We started you on a modeling career. She's shaking her head. Blackhawks have it over in the left corner, and they get it back out high. This is Petska with it. Drives into the lane, gets it out to Aaliyah Hartman. Over to Helen. On the right side. Feeds it in, and it goes out of bounds. Pass was intended for Petska, and she just didn't catch it. So the Vikings have it. Goodell with the ball. Vikings up by 4. To Hajdukovic at the elbow. Gets it out to Bovey. Thought about the three, didn't take it. Gets it to Sikora. To Goodell, and her shot is off the iron. And the Blackhawks have it. Blackhawks controlling most of the rebounds. This is Sierra Hartman. Over to Leah. Petska has it now in the right corner. Now she moves out to the right wing. Out to Aaliyah from the top of the key. She hit it. Makes it a 1-point game, 41-40. Goodell with the ball. She's out in the center circle, trying to set things up. Bovey comes working through the lane. She's got it now at the top of the key. Feeds it over to the left side to Sierra. Shipman in the lane, driving it up, overlaying it, no good was Goodell. Put back by Hajdukovic is no good, and the Blackhawks have it. Petska with a 3 from downtown, and the Blackhawks take a 43-41 lead over the Vikings. Goodell with the ball, feeds it over to Shipman. Back out high, and a three-pointer hit by Sikora. Put the Vikings back on top, 44-43. Aaliyah Hartman with it. Gets it over to Helen at the top of the key. Helen to Petska, cutting down the lane. Her pass was blocked, but the Blackhawks get it back. Helen puts up the 3, no good. Hajdukovic with the rebound. Goodell with it between the circles. Now she backs up to the center circle. Feeds it to the elbow to Sikora. Then to Shipman. Shipman takes it to the free throw line. We're going to get a whistle and a foul away from the ball. Actually, it's going to be on Petska. She was guarding. And she's going to have to go and get a little bit of blood on the elbow taken care of.
Back in for Bloomer number 2. Brianna Hartman, number 5, Grace Krejci.
Briella Hartman and Krejci are back in the lineup for the Blackhawks. Goodell to inbound the ball. Vikings clinging to a 1-point lead. Sikora puts it up and puts it in. Bryn Sikora makes it 46-43. And the shot goes up. It's no good. Rebound taken down by Bovey. By the way, Sikora now has 12 points on the game. Hajdukovic feeds it to Sikora, puts it up. It's no good. Ball gets tipped out. She gets the rebound. Shot goes up from the elbow. No good. And we're going to get a whistle and a foul. I think it's on Shipman.
Colfax foul number 30, Sierra.
I think that's her second personal. 15th foul on the Vikings. Blackhawks have 6, so the Vikings will be in the bonus when the next foul is called on the Blackhawks. Briella gets it over Krejci. Down into the corner to Sierra Hartman. Shot goes up, no good. Attempt to save it in bounds by Brazina, but she stepped on the baseline. So it's Viking ball. Goodell with it. Across the timeline. Feeding it over to the right side to Shipman. Shipman at the free throw line. She kicks it back out to Goodell. Three-pointer is long, and it's out of bounds. So Aaliyah Hartman to inbound it to Sister Briella. Briella has it over to the right side, and the pass to the corner got knocked out of bounds by Goodell. So Aaliyah to inbound it again. Out to Briella. Feeds it over to the left side to Sierra. Hartman tries to feed it into the lane. Ball gets taken away by Sikora. Fed over to Goodell. Goodell back to Sikora. Feeds it underneath to Bovey. Puts it up. No good. Rebound and it's out of bounds off the Vikings. First pass in is tipped back out of bounds by the Vikings. And we have a timeout being called by the Blackhawks. So the timeout on the floor is Vikings 46, Blackhawks 43, and you're tuned to Viking basketball on NLWN-TV.
Menominee Eye and Optical can help you see the world for the beautiful place it is. Doctors Nicholas and Marianne Comro provide comprehensive and emergency eye care for all, including pediatric and special needs patients. Whether it's examination for glasses to cataract or LASIK care, or diagnosis and management of macular degeneration, and so much more. In addition, Menominee Eye and Optical's experienced opticians will help guide you to the highest quality eyewear for the best value. That's Menominee Eye and Optical, 520 Wilson Avenue in Menominee, where they specialize in quality personalized care for you and your family.
Back here at Bloomer High School, Rick Olson along with Lynn Nigaman, Chris Olson on the camera. Ball comes in, and down the floor come the Blackhawks. That's Briella. She spins on the left side, gets it out to Petska, to Sierra Hartman, back out to Briella, to Aaliyah. Then out to Petska, three-pointer on the way, no good. Rebound, hauled down by the Blackhawks, two-pointer on the way. That was Sierra Hartman. Makes it a one-point game. Vikings on top, 5:15 to go. Hurlburt with it. Or check that, that's Hajdukovic. And the Blackhawks have it. They feed it to, that was to Krejci, and she got fouled driving into the lane. Fouls on Shipman.
Okay.
That's her third personal, sixth team foul on the Vikings. First shot is up. It's no good.
Grace Krejci on the line for Bloomer.
Krejci's second shot is up, and that one's good. She's 3 for 5 from the line. Vikings feed it over to the left side. Bovey gets it back out to Hajdukovic. Over to Goodell on the right. Back out to Sikora. To Bovey, puts it up, and it went in. 48-46. Shot goes up, and that's a three-pointer from downtown by Aaliyah Hartman. And that puts the Blackhawks back on top by 1, 49-48. Shot goes up by Goodell. It's no good. She gets her own rebound, dribbles it out of trouble. Gets it to Bovey. Back out to Hajdukovic at the top of the key. To Sikora. To Goodell. Puts up the three. No. Rebound taken down by Sikora. She goes right back up. No. It won't go. And it gets tied up. And they're going to call a foul on Sikora. Or check that. It's on Shipman. That's her fourth foul.
30 years.
3:55 to go.
That's got the line. Should be 1-1.
So Petska at the line. First shot's up. It's good. 50-48. Bloomer on top. And 51-48. That's their biggest lead of the night. That's the lead they had when they scored the first three-pointer. And they've now equaled that, a three-point lead for the Blackhawks. Goodell gets it out to Bovey, puts up the three. No, off the back of the iron. And Bloomer gets the rebound. Petska with it. Feeds it up from three. She hit the three. 54-48, and the Vikings want to talk it over. 3:30 remaining as the Vikings are trailing by 6 on NLWN-2.
The teen years are a great time for your child to gain practical experience in managing finances. Perhaps he or she already has a summer job lined up. A free checking account at Dairy State Bank can help teens learn to set a budget, track spending, use a debit card, make deposits, and more. Plus, parents are account co-owners and have the ability to supervise the learning process. Give us a call today. Dairy State Bank, banking on relationships. Member FDIC.
.330 remaining in regulation time. Vikings trail by 6. They'll have the ball. The thing that's hurting the Vikings so far is they're just getting dominated on the boards. Goodell brings it down the floor for the Vikings. Feeding it over to the right side to Shipman. Then to Hajdukovic. They try to feed it down in the lane. And it got knocked away, but chased down by Bovey. To Sikora, to Goodell, top of the key. Tries to drive the lane, kicks it out to Bovey, drives in. And we get a pushing foul before she went up with it. And the foul is going to be on Briella Hartman. That's her seventh team foul. So going to the line is Jordan Bovey for the 1-1. The shot is up, and that's good. 54-49. Second shot on the way. That one's good. 54-50, Vikings down by 4. Blackhawks have it. Petska on the dribble. She gets it across the timeline, being guarded by Sikora. Puts it up from 3. No. Rebound taken down by Goodell. Quickly down the floor. She tries to feed it to Sikora. Got tipped away by the Blackhawks. And down the floor comes Briella. Across the timeline between the circles. Feeds it over to Sierra. And then it's to Petska. Petska to Sierra to Aaliyah. Aaliyah dribbles back out between the circles. Out to Briella, and we have a whistle and a foul. Foul's going to be called on Bovey.
Colfax penalty number 12, Jordan Bovey. Team aim.
So that's going to send Briella to the line for the 1-1.
Checking back in for Colfax number 24, Lyric Nichols.
Lyric Nichols back in for the Vikings for Clara Hajdukovic. Shot is on the way. It's no good. Rebound taken down by Sierra. This is Goodell with it. Feeds it over to the right side to Shipman. To Bovey, three-pointer. No, it won't drop. And down the floor come the Blackhawks. Again, they get another rebound. Vikings can't get an offensive board. Petska feeds it over to the right side to Aaliyah. Ball gets tipped away, tied up. No. And we're going to get a whistle. And they're going to call a foul. Foul on Goodell. That's her third. That's the 9th foul on the Vikings. And Sierra Hartman is at the line. First shot on the way. It's good.
First free throw by Sierra Hartman is good.
And her second shot. It's on the way. It's off the back of the air. No good. Sikora with the rebound. Goodell with it. Feeds it over to Sikora. Sikora drives into the lane. Spins. Stops. Looking for somewhere to go. Gets it out to Goodell. Top of the key. Puts it up. She hit the 3. And we have a timeout on the floor. Vikings trail by 2, 55-53, minute 35 remaining, and you're tuned to Viking basketball on NLWN-TV.
If your estate isn't looking quite estate-like, let Midwest Environmental Consultants landscape your estate right up to snuff with installation of retaining walls, brick patios, foundation planting beds, and so much more. Then they'll keep it that way with their expert lawn care service. Call Midwest Environmental Consultants at 608-468-2067. Let Midwest Environmental Consultants help make your estate the showplace of the neighborhood.
NLWN-2 is once again excited to be your host for Colfax High School Boys Basketball throughout the 2024 through 2025 season.
This is what we came in for.
Our next game will be on Tuesday, January 7th, when the Vikings play host to the Bloomer Blackhawks. Coverage begins with Viking pregame at 6:40 p.m. with live play-by-play to follow. That's live Colfax Viking Boys Basketball on Tuesday, January 7th on NLWN-2.
And it looks like the Viking boys are going to take one on the chin with about 30 seconds to go. They're trailing the Turtle Lake Lakers 67-46. So maybe they can score one against these Bloomer Blackhawks, the boys team. Blackhawks have the ball as they come down the floor. Some pressure being put on by the Vikings. Petska, and we get a foul called on Bovey. A reach in.
12, Jordan Bovey.
So it's going to put Petska at the line.
Petska at the line is
55-53. 2-point game. First shot is up off the back of the iron. Petska's in the double bonus here, as are the Blackhawks. Second shot is up. That's also off the back of the iron. Vikings have the ball. Goodell with it. Looking to tie it up with 1:20 to go. Shipman feeds it to Goodell. Kicks it back out to Bovey. Tries the baseline. Out to Goodell. Goodell with a three-pointer. She misses it. And the Blackhawks get the ball. About a minute remaining. This is Briella, and we get a whistle and a foul. It's going to be a foul on Goodell, I believe.
Colfax fouls on number 4, Kingston Goodell. Fourth, Briella Hartman at the line to shoot 2.
Final score from Turtle Lake, it was 68-48. First shot is no good. Turtle Lake Lakers topping the Viking boys. Second shot on the way. That one's good. 56-53. Vikings pick up the ball. Goodell with it. Gets it to Shipman. Shot goes up. No good. And the Blackhawks get the ball. They bring it down across the timeline. Krejci with it, and she gets fouled. Foul's going to be on Sikora. That's her fourth personal. Krejci at the line. First shot's up. It's off the front of the iron. 37.2 seconds remaining in this game. Vikings trail by 3. Krejci at the line for her second shot. That one's good. That was an important shot because it makes it a 2-score game or 2-possession game. Goodell with it. Feeds it off to Bovey. Three-pointer on the way. She hit the 3! And the Vikings call a timeout. 57-56. Blackhawks on top by 1. And we have a timeout as you're tuned to Viking basketball on NLWN-TV.
Even though it's winter, baseball is just around the corner. And the Northern Light Webcasting Network is excited to bring you Colfax High School baseball, followed by Eau Claire Cavalier baseball. So stick with us all spring and summer long for America's game on the Northern Light Webcasting Network.
You're not gonna get it all right. Just make sure you nail the big stuff.
Mama!
Like making sure your kids are in the right seat for their age and size. Get it right at nhtsa.gov/the-right-seat.
Back here in Bloomer. 30.2 seconds remaining. Blackhawks with a 1-point lead over the Vikings. Blackhawks with the ball. Vikings putting on full court pressure. Pass comes in, gets taken away by the Vikings. Shipman took it away. Bovey has it. Coming down the baseline. Puts a shot. It goes in. Jordan Bovey with a 2-pointer. And she got fouled. And that's Aaliyah Hartman getting her third foul of the day. 22.8 seconds left. Bovey at the line for the +1. Shots on the way. It's good. Vikings on top by 2. Down the floor comes Briella, and we have a timeout being called now by the Blackhawks. Want to remind you that 1 week No, it's not 1 week from tonight. It's next Monday, January 6th. The Northern Light Webcasting Network's going to broadcast our 500th event when the Viking girls are going to be hosting St. Croix Central Panthers. Make sure you tune in that night for special gifts. You've already seen a glimpse of it tonight when Lynn modeled it for you. That's all coming up January 6th, and you can tune in on either both NLWN-TV or NLWN2. Either one is just fine. And then the next night on January 7th, the boys will be taking on the Bloomer Blackhawks in Colfax. Our coverage in that game will begin at 6:40 p.m., followed by live play-by-play. In fact, that's the same time, 6:40 p.m. for our 500th broadcast on the 6th. Also, this quick reminder that the Bloomer Colfax wrestling team will be in New Richmond tomorrow with the action starting at 9:30 in the morning. And then on Thursday, they'll be in Neelsville with action starting at 5:30 p.m. Blackhawks with the ball. Briella to inbound. She gets it into Petska. She shoots it from the top of the key. No! Rebound taken down by Goodell, and she gets fouled. Kason Goodell going to go to the line with 9.2 seconds left. This has been a barn burner. Kason Goodell at the line shooting the 1-on-1. That's the third foul on Sierra Hartman. First shot's up. It's off the back there. No good. Bloomer with the rebound. Down the floor they come. 6 seconds remaining. And they almost threw the ball away. Vikings have it. And there's the buzzer. And the Vikings escaped with a 59-57 victory over the Bloomer Blackhawks. And we'll have all the information about this one when we get to Viking postgame, and we have a little chat with Viking head coach Courtney Serrar. And that's all coming up very shortly as you're tuned to Viking basketball on NLWN-TV.
One scorching heat wave will leave me powerless to cool my insulin.
When the storm rolls in, my time to find a pet-friendly evacuation center will have run out.
I'm relying on luck, but who knows if it'll be on my side.
When it comes to disasters and emergencies, it's not a matter of if, but when. Take control. 1. Assess your needs. 2. Make a plan. 3. Engage your support network. Let's prepare so we all have a better story to tell.
You have been tuned to Colfax Viking Girls Basketball on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN-TV. This copyrighted production of the Northern Light Webcasting Network and Colfax High School is intended for the enjoyment of the viewing and listening audience. Any broadcast, rebroadcast, or reproduction without the express written consent of the Northern Light Webcasting Network LLC and Colfax High School is prohibited. Stay tuned. Coming up next is Viking Postgame.
In November of 2018, our daughter Jana passed away. The outpouring of support was unbelievable. Support that we received inspired us to start a foundation called the Jana Kelly Memorial Foundation. And through that foundation,
we've given back in a lot of different ways, through projects, through different other charities that we've supported. We like to help Humane Association, and the Ronald McDonald House is something that's very near and dear to us. We've also recently, this last year, we actually built a tiny house. It's really exciting to be able to give back in different ways.
To learn more or to help financially, would find us on Facebook or www.janakelly.com.
Time now for Viking Postgame, with a wrap-up of today's Colfax Viking Girls game. And now, Viking Postgame.
And we're back here at Bloomer High School as the Colfax Vikings escape. And I think that's the best word I can come up with for it, with a 59-57 victory over the Bloomer Blackhawks. This was a back and forth game. The Blackhawks scored the first points of the game. The rest of the first half, for the most part, until about the last 3 minutes or so, was absolutely dominated by the Vikings. And they built up as much as an 8-point lead on several occasions, but only to have the Blackhawks come storming back and close it to a 1-point game at halftime. Then in the second half, it was back and forth and back and forth. Every time one of the teams scored, another one would answer. The lead switched hands a number of times. And the Blackhawks opened up a 5-point lead, or actually a 6-point lead, late in the second half. And the Vikings didn't panic. They worked their tail off and made some critical shots. And it's one of the times I've oftentimes seen teams resort to the fouling to put the opponent on the line. It worked for the Vikings tonight, and they were able to put the Blackhawks on the line, and they finally started getting some rebounds, and they got the rebounds off those free throws and went down and scored and ended up coming away with a 59-57 victory. We're waiting on Coach Serrar to come up. And Lynn has been doing an outstanding, meticulous job of keeping track of all the points and everything for us. And let's take a quick look at that. Taking a look at the Bloomer Blackhawks leading the way for the Blackhawks with 14 points. We have a couple of them. Aaliyah Hartman and Brooke Petska each had 14 points. Sierra Hartman had 13 and Briella Hartman had 10. And then also Grace Critchie had 6. The critical part was Petska at the free throw line late in the game, missing a couple of free throws. Also, Hartman missed the back end of a 1-on-1, and the Vikings were able to gain control. Taking a look at Vikings scores, Jordan Bovey led the way for the Vikings with 21, and we'll give you the rest of it in just a minute, because coming up to join us is Viking head coach. It is a really tall step. Courtney Serrar is joining us, and Courtney, I think I've got a few extra gray hairs after this one.
You and me both. So, credit to Bloomer. They made a ton of shots. Okay. It seemed like everything that they, fired up was going in. We missed a lot of easy ones early in that second half, but I was proud of my kids. We never gave up. Never gave up.
Well, your powers of prognostication really shown tonight, because you said during the pregame show they like the 3. And boy, oh boy, did they like the 3 tonight, and it paid off for them. That's what kept them in the game.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I think they made like 13 or 14 threes. And if you can do that on a consistent basis, you're going to have a good chance to beat, anybody. So, and some of those where they just did not care, hand in your face. So credit to their kids for, not being scared and having the confidence to shoot that. But overall, I was proud of my kids, how we executed down the stretch.
I was just going to mention that there really wasn't any panic on their part. They played their game, and they finally started getting rebounds, which is something that they really struggled with tonight.
Yeah. We go through those situations in practice, so they knew what to do, and they executed well. And luckily, we were able to make some shots down the stretch too. Kaysen's 3 was huge. Jordan's 3 was huge. Sierra doesn't get that steal, we don't win. So everybody brought something to the table, and I was really impressed.
So your record now goes to 4-3 overall. You're still 2-1 in the Dunn St. Croix, because this was a non-conference game, but you've got St. Croix Central coming to town for our 500th broadcast, which is really, yes, you can get yourself one of these T-shirts.
Okay.
We'll line you up with one of these. It's because I expect you to be watching the game, but from a whole different
perspective.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. St. Croix Central, they're a team that's been playing well. They battle night in and night out in that middle border. So same thing. We're going to have to come ready to play. It'll be a little bit different, scenario. Not as many threes from them. More, taller kids on the inside, but still some great guards. And they, I think, have a small advantage, that they've played a couple more games than us. So we're just going to, get some rest tonight and tomorrow and, go through a scout on Sunday and hope that, we play as well as we did tonight.
Yeah, one of the things that seemed to affect the game was Clara was playing good right from the get-go, and then she got in foul trouble right away. And all of a sudden, there goes a lot of your height, which is part of the reason the rebounds were a little tougher to come by.
Yeah, Clara, she's a great kid. She brings a lot to the table for sure. Her instincts are so good, and you could tell we missed her on the inside. We had, kids flying at shooters with their hand up, and then, we don't have Clara on the inside to help us, protect the rim. So, but she did a lot of good things, and she had a lot of good looks at the basket, and those will fall too. Like I said, I knew we were going to be a little rusty tonight after, taking 21 days or something like that from a break. So, that's a long time to go without playing a game and still play at that, high level that we were playing at. So,
yeah, you got out the steel wool tonight and polished off all that rust. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations on a 59-57 victory, and we'll be back with you on Monday when you take on the St. Croix Central Panthers, and we'll be back with more Viking postgame. We'll go over the rest of those stats right after this timeout on NLWN-TV.
For decades, I've taught you everything I know. How to safely build a fire, and how to control the flames. But I can only teach wildfire prevention. Only you can prevent wildfires.
We're back here in Bloomer getting ready to wrap things up, and let's finish up the scoring by the Vikings. In fact, let's just start that all over again. The Vikings were led in scoring tonight by Jordan Bovey with 21 points. I see one three-pointer. Otherwise, all of her field goals were from the floor. But the thing that Jordan brings is a dead eye from the free throw line. She was 4 for 6 from the line tonight, which really paid off because she misses a couple of those and the Vikings don't come away winners. She was followed by Kaysen Goodell with 13 points. And Bryn Sikora had a real hustling night tonight with 12 points. She was all over the place, picking up what she could. Sierra Shipman had 8. She was held scoreless in the second half. She was 0 for 2 from the free throw line in the second half. But she played a lot of tough defense, especially she ended up with 4 fouls on her. So that made it tough for her. Picking up points tonight, also Lyric Nichols had a couple points and Clara Hajdukovic. So that made the final score Vikings 59 and the Blackhawks 57. Want to remind you again that on Monday we have our 500th broadcast for the Northern Light Webcasting Network. And it will be the Viking girls taking on the St. Croix Central Panthers. And you just heard Coach Serrar talk about how that's not going to be an easy one. And make sure you tune in here for that. And also for the chance to get some special gifts for our loyal viewers. And that's all coming up on Monday. Our coverage begins at right around 6:40 p.m., followed by live play-by-play action. Also, don't forget to join us on NLWN-2 on Tuesday, January 7th, as we bring you the Colfax Viking boys, as they will take on the Bloomer Blackhawks from Colfax. Coverage begins on NLWN-2 with Viking pregame at 6:40 p.m., followed by live play-by-play. The Bloomer Colfax wrestling team will be in New Richmond tomorrow with action starting at 9:30 a.m. And then on Thursday, they'll be in Neilsville with action starting at 5:30 p.m. I meant to mention it earlier during the game tonight. We promised you during the pregame that we would give you the score of last night's Elk Mound St. Croix Central game, and the Mounders defeated the Panthers 49-25 to keep the Mounders' season record intact. But tonight's Colfax Viking Girls Basketball game has been brought to you by Dairy State Bank, where they're banking on relationships, Midwest Environmental Consultants, soil testers for Western Wisconsin, Anderson Bridges, who have been manufacturing prefabricated steel truss bridges since 1989. Slayton's Technology, IT provider for the Northern Light Webcasting Network. Menominee Eye & Optical, with quality personalized care for you and your family. C&K Construction, concrete experts for the Chippewa Valley. And Mom's Restaurant and Pub in Colfax. Comfort food the way Mom used to make it. Make sure you thank these fine folks by giving them a little bit of your business if you can. For bringing you Colfax Viking basketball. They're the reason that you get it right here on NLWN-TV. So for Lynn Nigaman and Chris Olson on the camera tonight, this is Rick Olson. That final score once again, Colfax Vikings 59, Bloomer Blackhawks 57. You've been tuned to Viking Postgame on NLWN-TV.
You've been listening to Viking Postgame, a wrap-up of today's Colfax Viking Girls game. You can catch Colfax Vikings games tuning in to any of the Northern Light Webcasting Network outlets. This has been a production of the Northern Light Webcasting Network.